Big shine for Skyline in VR. Hello there everyone and welcome to OpenFet Gaming. You're listening to the OpenFet. Today we are driving a Nissan Skyline RS Silhouette Formula car. We're driving it in a World Touring Car 700 event, and we're driving it at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. We're doing 10 laps. We started 20th of 20 and we started with a rolling start. Now, doing 10 laps in a race, you know you're not going to be able to do that in one take. So the very first thing I like to mention on any race where you have to go and fuel up is know where the entrance to the pit stop is. So when you're coming around the first lap, keep an eye out and make a mental note of where that is so that when that fifth lap is over and you got to go get fuel, you know where it is. In the meantime, we try to go as fast as we can and pass as many cars as we can because we want to make sure that we have a little bit of a buffer, because after 5 laps, when we go in and get fuel, we don't know what kind of a strategy the other cars have. Some of them might go and get fuel after 2 laps, some might after 6 or 7. We don't know. So the best we can do is just control our own destiny, go get fuel after 5 and try and pass as many cars before that. Now the lap is just coming to an end here, and on the right hand side you can see right there is the entrance to the pit stop. So now we know we got 4 more laps to go, and we're going to try and catch up to these guys and go by them, pick them off one at a time, try and get as far ahead as possible before we got to go get fuel. Now we don't know how much fuel we're going to have left over because we don't have the display on. We can only see that once we're into the pit stop, and that's okay, that's fine, because I'm pretty sure we can do 5 laps. So we just got to keep ripping try and get by as many cars as possible. Now one thing that happens every once in a while in some of these races is these guys don't like it when you pass them, so sometimes they tend to block you out. And when they do, you have to have a little bit of patience and wait for them to move over so you can get by, because you can't run into them. That doesn't do you any good. You have to wait for the opportunity. Here, see here, these 3 guys are blocking me out. So the best that I can do is stay with them as close as I can and wait for a chance to get by them, which is now going to present itself. However, in the meantime, the cars that are in the front of the group, you know, cars number 1, 2, 3, and 4, say, are getting further and further away. I mean, they're the fastest cars, they're in the lead, and if you're sitting behind somebody waiting for them to move over, the other guys are getting away, and it's going to get harder and harder to try and catch them. So you got to try and stick with it and stick right up behind the cars that are holding you back. And like I said, when there's an opportunity, like right there is a spot, a little bit of room, so put your nose in there and go through it, and then take these guys from the outside, because now you got to really move to try and catch up to the guys that are at the front of the group. And that was our 2nd lap. So we are coming along here now. We're going to try and get by a few more before the 5 laps are up. And the best we can do, like I said, you got to catch them before you can pass them. So we just keep ripping, put your foot to the floor and just keep it. This is an awesome little car to drive. I mean, it's got lots of power. It handles fantastic. It's very grippy. It's got crazy glue on the tires. It's just fantastic. You know, but when you go around the corners, if you go too fast, you will still spin out. So you do have to have a little respect for the track and slow down around the corners so you can make them nice and smooth. And then when you catch up to the next guy, you just wait for your opportunity. Whoa, we kind of pushed him almost all the way off the track there, but we kept in control. So we're going to keep going here and shoot by him on the outside, which isn't always possible, because passing them on the outside you have to have a little bit more power. It's usually better just to wait until they move over and then cut them on the inside. So this is lap number 3, I believe it is done. So we got 2 more to go, and not really any idea where we are anymore in the position on the track, but we will find that out when we go into the pit stop, and it'll show on the display what position we hold. But even that, you know, we still gonna have 5 laps to go after that, so it's gonna take a little bit to finish this. But you got to try and flow through the corners, drive the track according to the speed, go from side to side, use the whole track, and then when the guys in front of you move over a little bit, shoot by them. Now you know that there is a straight stretch after this corner here, so good opportunity to get by 2 or 3 of them and move up in the lineup. Right over here, you got a little bit of room so you can get going. Because these, like I said, these laps are not very long. You got to be careful over here because it's real easy if you don't slow down, to overshoot the corner. And if you do slow down too much, have guys like that pass you back. Because sometimes when you're not paying attention and keeping one eye on that rear view mirror, you don't notice those guys catching up to you quietly from behind, and then when you're not paying attention, they sneak by you. The exact same thing that we do to them. But that's okay, because we'll come back up here and we'll get them now as we are finishing our 4th lap, I believe it is. We got 1 more to go, and then we're going to be going in for some fuel. Like I said, they seem like, 10 laps seems like a long race, but it's not really. It goes by pretty quick because we're already on our 5th lap, and that's the halfway point. So while we're coming along the corner here, try and squeeze by this guy too. We might as well get a few more cars behind us before we go in for fuel. Because not everybody is going to go in at lap 5. Everybody does their own little thing. So, and that's okay. That's all part of the strategy. As we're coming around here, we passed him in that corner. See, those cars, they slow down quite a bit for the corners and then through the corners. So if you can throttle up a little bit longer and start braking a little bit later, you have a good chance of passing them in the corners. But then, of course, you also have a good chance of overshooting the corner and running off the track, as I will show you later on in this race, because we're still doing a lot of practicing when we're driving these races. I mean, we're not no professional by any stretch of the imagination, but what we do have is a lot of fun while we're racing it. That's the main thing. So as we're coming over here now, we're going to be coming up to the end of this lap here pretty quick. I do believe we're going to go in for some fuel right here. Okay. Now you got to slow down because you want to make sure you stay on these tracks for the pit stop too, because you could get penalties. Okay, so we came in 7th out of 20 cars. Done 5 laps. We had a quarter of a tank left. The tires were not too bad, so they're going to be okay, and we're going to have enough fuel if we fuel up. So we're in 10th, 11th, and now we're in 12th. Okay, so we're leaving the pit stop in 12th place. So we got 11 cars to go by, but like I've mentioned before, the only time you can count cars to pass in the lineup is only in this lap, because at the end of this lap anybody can go into the pit stop and you don't know who's in and who's out and anything. So all you can do is, if you got 11 cars to pass these 2, then you know you've only got 9 left in front of you, and out of those 9, 2 or 3 or 4 could be in the pits at any time. So knowing that there's only 9 left in front of you makes it a little bit easier to digest, and we keep ripping, and by doing that we hopefully near the end of the 10 laps will be in the lead. So this is lap number 6. This corner right here, if you're not careful, is easy to overshoot. So we just have a little patience, stick with the cars in front of you, and then take them when you have the opportunity. Now, I have a real problem when I get in front of everybody and I'm the lead car. I really don't care too much for being the lead car, because my problem is I tend to slow down when I drive a little slower, as you noticed with that car that passed me a couple of laps ago. Okay, so this is lap number 7. So anyhow, I prefer to have a car in front of me, because if I have a car in front of me, then I'm chasing somebody, and it pushes me to go a little faster. However, if I don't have a lead car in front of me and I got nobody to chase down, I tend to drive a little slower, take the corners a little bit easier, because I don't want to crash and I don't want to run into anything and I don't want to spin out. So, but by doing that, you end up going a little slower and you could get past if you're not paying attention to the rearview mirror, which the OPAFET has been known to do from time to time. So we're going to try and not do that. The other thing that happens when I drive 10 laps is around the last couple of laps, I tend to get a little lazy, I get a little tired, and I don't take the corners as well as I should. And I got to try and be a little more disciplined and try and do a little bit better job of that. So these are the things that we got to keep, that I have to keep in mind, that I'm trying to work on and trying to be a little bit better at. So everybody has their own problems, and those are a couple of problems that I have. We're still not overshooting that corner. Now, I can't remember. I'm starting to lose track of what lap. I believe this is lap number 7. And we're getting close. We're getting close to the end of the race. And we are constantly passing cars. We haven't, other than that one car that passed us, see, those 2 guys are going for a pit stop. So they could have been 2 of the 7 or 9 cars that were in front of me, right? So we're getting less and less vehicles on the track, but we still got a lead car there that can pace us into a nice steady speed around the track. So I believe that's lap number 8, I believe, that we're into now. So if we can maybe manage to pass another 3 or 4 cars, there'd be a good chance that we're in the lead. And we'll just see what's going to happen here. As we come around the corner, we can pass them on the left-hand side. There we go. Get that Corvette behind us and keep going. Well, there's a few more cars on the track, so obviously we're getting close to the front of the pack, though. I gotta believe that these might be the last 2 in front of us. So, but there again, we're just gonna keep ripping. Let's try and catch up to them, and then look for our opportunity. Ooh, starting to go a little bit wide there on the track. There we go, and coming up almost to the end of this lap now too. Boy, I tell you, the laps sure go by pretty quick. All right, so this got to be lap number 18, I believe. 8 or 18. Lap number 8 or 9, I can't remember now. Lap number 8 or 9. So we got to get past these 2 guys, because I believe they were still in front on the track. So after we get past them, I'm pretty sure we'll be leading. But these guys seem to be they're a little bit cranky. They don't want me to go by them. They're blocking me out, and they're doing a pretty good job. But OPAFET will not be denied, as we rip by the Viper and then catch up to this little rally car. Sure what it is, a little Renault or a little Renault rally car, looks like. Wasn't too sure what that was, but doesn't matter. He's behind us now, and of no more worry to us. So here we come to that corner that I was telling you about. No, That one is okay. I believe it's this one right here. You go a little bit too fast. No, we're doing okay there too yet. All right, well, maybe it was a different race, but I'm not so sure. I think it was right here. See, a little bit off the track. Wasn't paying attention there. Started turning a little bit too late. But that's okay, we still kept her on the track. Even if you go off the track, don't worry too much about it and steer the car back on the track and keep going. Because there's no point in stopping and letting the game put you back on the track, because you waste way too much time and you won't be able to catch up again. Now, I do believe this is the last lap. I think this is lap number 10. Oh, see, and there again, we drove off the track because we're just not paying attention. So, but that's okay. We caught her back on and we're doing all right. We got control of the car. Like I said, this is an awesome little car to drive. I had a lot of fun driving this thing. I tell you, I've done this race a few times now, and I've enjoyed every one of them. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. And if you have the opportunity, try and get this little Skyline and drive it in VR. It is just it's a lot of fun to drive. As we're coming up around these corners again, I've adjusted my driving, slowing down around the corners a little bit, keeping a close eye not to drive off the track. We're doing good so far. We got one more spot, I believe, over here. It's a little tough. Oh yeah, see, we drive off the track, but we steer back on the track and we're going to be okay. We're going to try and work on that for the upcoming races and not drive off the track like that. Really enjoyed this one, had a lot of fun, and I hope you had a good time too. Hope to see you back here again at OpaFed Gaming real soon. You've been racing with the OpaFed.